If your fridge feels more like a storage box than a real cooling appliance, you're probably here for answers. Maybe your current fridge takes up too much space, doesn't keep things cold consistently, or just looks outdated. For a lot of people living in smaller apartments, RVs, or shared spaces, finding a compact fridge that actually works and keeps working can feel like searching for a unicorn. That's exactly why I decided to dive deep into the Arctic Chef, a stainless steel, two-door fridge with freezer that's been climbing the charts on Amazon. It's compact, offers 7.5 cubic feet of total space, has adjustable glass shelves, a dedicated crisper drawer, and features multi-vent cooling. Which sounds great, but does it actually solve the problems you're trying to fix? In this video, I'm going to break it all down for you. I'll cover what this fridge gets right, where it falls short, and more importantly, the kind of real-life use cases where it shines. Because this isn't about selling you something, it's about helping you avoid a bad choice. If you've ever dealt with a fridge that froze your vegetables or had you defrosting by hand every other week, you'll want to see how this one compares. And yes, I've added a direct link to the product below in the description and pinned comment, so you can check current pricing and user reviews for yourself, especially if you want to verify anything I mention here. But before you jump there, stay with me because there's one design flaw you really need to know about before buying, and it's something most product pages don't even mention. I'll get into that in just a bit. If this kind of deep dive helps you out, give the video a quick like, it helps a lot. And let's take a look at how this fridge is actually built, inside and out. So let's take a closer look at how this fridge is actually built. Because when space is limited, every detail matters. Whether you're putting it in a studio apartment, a dorm, or an RV, you need a fridge that fits without compromising on structure or internal space. And that's where the Arctic Chef has some strengths, and a few things you'll want to think about. First, in terms of size, it stands at 55 inches tall, 23 inches wide, and 23 inches deep. That's just under 5 feet, which makes it easy to tuck under cabinets or even fit inside a built-in kitchen nook. But be aware, you need to leave some clearance at the back for ventilation, which isn't mentioned clearly in most listings. That's crucial for compressor-based cooling systems like this one. Now the exterior is stainless steel. Not a brushed high-end finish, but it does resist fingerprints fairly well and gives it a cleaner, more modern look than the usual plastic-fronted mini fridges. The two-door design gives you real separation between the refrigerator and freezer sections, which is a big plus for energy efficiency and food safety. Inside, the layout is surprisingly functional for the size. You've got glass shelves, not plastic, which are spill-proof, meaning if a soda can explodes or a container leaks, the mess won't drip through multiple shelves. There's also a crisper drawer at the bottom for produce, and the door shelves are deep enough for taller bottles, which is often an issue in smaller fridges. Now, one important heads up, several users reported small dents or damage on arrival, especially at the corners. This doesn't affect performance, but if aesthetics matter to you, or you're planning to place it somewhere visible, you'll want to inspect it carefully on delivery. So now that we've looked at the physical build, let's talk about how the Arctic Chef actually performs in daily use. Because a good-looking fridge means nothing if it doesn't keep your food fresh. One of the standout features here is the multi-vent cooling system, which isn't just a buzzword. In practice, this means the cold air is distributed more evenly, so you're not dealing with frozen lettuce at the bottom and warm leftovers up top. It's especially useful in smaller units where cold zones can get extreme. Several buyers mentioned they were surprised by how stable the internal temperature stayed, even when fully loaded. Now, the manual temperature control is located inside, which might feel a bit old school, but it gives you precise control without relying on error-prone digital sensors. That's helpful if you live in a place with frequent power fluctuations or extreme temperatures. One thing to keep in mind, there's no separate control for the freezer, so you're adjusting both sections with one dial, something to be aware of if you store a lot of frozen goods. Speaking of the freezer, it's about half a cubic foot, which fits a few frozen meals, ice trays, or small meat packages. But don't expect to stockpile bulk groceries. It does have a wire shelf and door bin, which helps with organization, but taller items like pizza boxes won't fit. In terms of noise, it runs surprisingly quiet for a compressor fridge. You'll hear a soft hum when it cycles on, but nothing disruptive. A few users noted occasional clicking sounds, especially during defrosting, but nothing unusual. Power consumption is moderate, at 250 kilowatt hours per year, making it efficient enough for small households or off-grid setups. Now, let's talk about the part most people only think about after they've bought the fridge: day-to-day usability and maintenance. Because even if it cools well, it needs to be practical, easy to clean, easy to set up, and not a constant chore to maintain. Starting with installation. Since this is a freestanding unit, you don't need special hookups or brackets, but one detail that trips people up is ventilation space. You'll want to leave at least 2 to 3 inches behind and above the unit for proper airflow. Ignoring that can cause the compressor to overheat, which affects performance and lifespan, and this isn't something retailers often warn you about. Once it's in place, the interior layout is simple and functional. The glass shelves and crisper bin pull out easily for cleaning, and since they're spill-proof, most messes stay contained. That said, none of the drawers or shelves are dishwasher safe, so plan on wiping them down manually with warm, soapy water. A real point of attention here is the manual defrost system. This means you'll occasionally need to unplug the unit to remove frost buildup in the freezer, especially if you store items with high moisture content. There's no auto defrost, which may sound like a drawback, but it also means fewer moving parts and less chance of system failure. If you're used to a frost-free model, this will require some adjustment. One thing users appreciate is how quiet this unit stays during normal operation. You won't hear beeping or constant fans running, and the light inside the fridge makes nighttime access easy, even in dim kitchens. In terms of maintenance, it's low fuss. Just keep the seals clean, defrost every few months, and avoid overloading the freezer to keep airflow steady. So here's the bottom line. The Arctic Chef is not trying to be the flashiest fridge on the market, but it gets the fundamentals right. For anyone living in a smaller space, needing a backup fridge, or upgrading from a noisy, unreliable unit, this model offers real cooling power, smart use of space, and a design that actually feels like it belongs in a modern kitchen. Yes, you'll have to manage manual defrosting and be cautious with delivery inspections, but if you understand those trade-offs, the value here is hard to ignore. If this video helped clarify your doubts, do me a quick favor, hit the like button, subscribe for more honest kitchen reviews, and let me know in the comments. What's the one feature you can't live without in a fridge? And remember, if you want to check current pricing or see what other buyers are saying, the link's in the description and pinned comment below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next review.